All right, I'm recording because the fun's already started. What's up, everybody? Obviously, partners, thanks for the reprieve last week. Not all the way healthy, but good enough to be here for Ryan because like I only need to be about 65% to be around Ryan Lee. I don't need to be at 100, so no big deal. That was a shot.
I'll pick up the other 35. Don't worry.
Yeah, there you go.
I had to do. It took me a minute to because I had to do that math in my head.
Well, it's that's you have to
And I
carry
still,
the
I think it's
5%.
right. 65 plus 30. Yeah, we're good.
Yeah,
All right.
that's 100. Yeah.
All right, we're good.
Well, guys, listen. I wonder if you've already noticed something that Ryan and I banter a lot. I want to tell you, I want to tell you the truth about all this. It's very interesting to me when you reach a certain level of sustainable success. Because Ryan and I have both known a lot of people who, had a good year or a good launch. They made good money, and then they went and sold other people and charged them lots of money to teach them what they did for that one launch. And those businesses never seem to work very, very well or for very, very long.
Right.
But I've had some success for a while now. And I would be honest if I said this. The number one question I get from people is, who was your mentor? And you're looking at him. Ryan Lee. I could say a lot about Ryan Lee, all his successes, which has been profound. But the thing I always say about Ryan Lee is I met him about 25 years ago, and I met his parents. If I'm not mistaken, Ryan, you were still living in your parents' basement when we first met.
Yeah, I was, I think.
Yeah. He's the same guy today as he was then. And I don't know if I can speak more highly of someone by saying exactly that. When I met Ryan, I was in a very, very bad place. I was in a very dark place myself in my life, and most assuredly my business. And like a lot of people in the fitness industry, I pretty much just bought everything Ryan ever sold. And there was three reasons actually. The first is that he never overcharged anybody for anything, which I've patterned my entire career off of. That's number one. By the way, I just want to make a point of think about how much we charge you for partners, and I hope you notice how much we gift in the process. I've patterned all of that off of what Ryan taught me. So that's the first reason I always bought what Ryan sold. The second reason was that everything he sold was over-delivered. It's just unmistakable. The guy says he's going to do something, he does it, but he does it 15% better than he actually told you he was going to. And that's not changed in the 25 years I've known him. But the other reason, which is probably the best reason for why I never stopped buying Ryan Lee things, and you'll get to know this today if you've never had the occasion of talking to Ryan, meeting him, or being at one of his events. He's just a really nice fucking guy who gives a shit about people. And that's my answer to the question of who was my mentor. Ryan Lee. He's the only one I've ever had. He's the only one I've ever needed. I've patterned a lot of what I do off of what I've seen him do. When I had some down, dark days 15 years ago, oftentimes Ryan got an email. He never didn't respond. So it's really awesome to call Ryan Lee your mentor. It's way cooler to call him your friend because he's just a super, super man. And if you want to know the depth of how wonderful he is as a person, if you were here when Carrie was talking with Ryan a few minutes ago, she said, "Hey, Uncle Ryan." Chase and Maya, my kids, met Ryan when they were 10 and 12 respectively. And that's what they called him. Chase and Maya are now 16 and 18, and they still call him Uncle Ryan. He's just that guy. My favorite memory, Ryan, of you and I is a photo, which ironically, I'm going to show it, but ironically, you're not in it. But you are, and you're going to know what I mean. Do you remember this, big boy?
Let me see. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was at our SAM event in Utah.
That's right.
Yeah, Park City.
That's exactly right. So for everyone in partners, Ryan, along with a couple of colleagues, hosted a mammoth event at the Egyptian Theater in Park City, Utah, which is the home of the Sundance Film Festival. It's one of the most beautiful and glorious venues on the planet. And he honored me with the opportunity of speaking. And I love this story so much because it's so Ryan. You know, when you're asked to speak at an event, people want your PowerPoints about 7 or 8 years in advance. and they want to know what you're going to say and how you're going to say it. And if it's a TED talk, which I've never done because I think they're absolutely fucking ridiculous in all the ways. I've been invited to do 3 of them, and I'm like, you know what? No, because because I don't talk like you want me to talk.
Yeah.
But I didn't have to do that for this event, the SAM event that Ryan hosted. And as a matter of fact, when I got to the event, the day I was speaking, Ryan introduced me to the musical performer who was performing all weekend, a young lady named Taylor Bono. And Taylor and I just hit it off. And I said to her, I said, hey, listen, I have a total 20-minute presentation planned, but I have an idea. I want to scrap it. I want to scrap the entire thing. I want you to come on stage with me. And I want you just to sit and play guitar. And I want you to play how you feel based on what I'm talking about. And I'm like, can you do that? And she's like, yeah, that's awesome. So I said to Ryan, I said, listen, you know how I was going to do this presentation on X? He was like, yeah. I said, is it cool if I don't do that and do something completely different? And Ryan said, fuck if I care. Just put on a good show. And that's what we did. And that to me is Ryan. He just wants to serve people, help people. And he's probably the greatest mentor you could ever have. So he's going to basically shit on everything I just said. But
no,
Ryan, thanks for being here, buddy.
That was awesome. I mean, look, I don't know what to say. I'll say this because I know people want to get to like, all right, let's get some meat. Let's get some training stuff. 2 quick things. When you were telling that story about when Taylor was doing the guitar, I will never forget that session. And so just to set the stage, it's a theater and there are people that are watching and the lights go down. It's this professional production. And Brian just gets up and he's all Brian Grasso. Like he's just dropping this knowledge, this deep stuff. And she's playing the guitar. And as he's picking up the speech, she's playing louder. And she was at the time, she was like 16 or something. Yeah. And it was funny when you were saying it, I get goosebumps thinking about that session. Cause I was just, I'm running the event. So I'm watching some sessions. Yours was just, and it was like the first time I'd seen you transition from when I originally met you, sports training guy, youth training like figure skaters to like a coach, a leader. And it was really cool to see. So that was story number 1. And number 2, likewise with family at one of my big events, it was like my 40th birthday. We did an event and you met my wife. She rarely goes to any of my events and she knows a lot of marketers a little suspect. Some of them are really good people, but sometimes they'll oversell stuff. So, and my wife is a psychologist and she's got her radar and antennas are always up. And she, right after that, I'll never forget, she said, I really like Brian. He's a good guy. And every time I mention your name, she's like, I like him. So you won her over. I'm like, all right, you're in. So now with that being said, I've been honored to have played a part in your success. And I love seeing what you're doing. I love your energy. I love what you put out. So thank you for having me here. Let's rock, Brian Grasso. Let's rock this, baby. Who's ready? Yes or yes? Come on.
Oh, shit. All right, partners. This is Ryan Lee's the shit. He's made all the money. He's made all the mistakes. He's improved and made all the right choices. This is your time. All right. I know Angus is ready with about 4 pages of questions. Before we get to Angus, anybody else? Just open up and ask Ryan Lee a question about your business. Anybody?
Yeah, I'll help. I've just as a little context, I've been online for a long time. Started my first business in late 98, early 99. I've pretty much done it all in terms of building different businesses, e-commerce, membership sites, coaching groups, courses, print books, digital courses. We run a ton of traffic, affiliate programs, webinars, boot camps. I was behind the scenes. We were there when we named Brian's IYCA, one of our conference calls. So been behind the scene of a lot of certifications. So lay it on me, my friends. Yeah, if I don't know the answer, I'll make the shit up and look like I do.
There you go. Alexine, chime in, buddy.
I'll start with a good generic one, maybe even a cop-out question, but trends. We always get inundated. Online has to be online. Everything's going to go back in person. We all have our opinions on it. Does it even matter? Do what you're good at and what you love. Are there actual trends? A hybrid model? What are you seeing and what do you foresee?
Well, that is a great question. I'm still a fan of, but my whole model is about simplicity, right? Keeping it as simple as possible. I think a lot of times we overcomplicate and we make it complicated for ourselves and we make it complicated for our customers to potentially buy or clients to potentially come in. So we overcomplicate. So I am all about simplicity. For me, it's like the old football analogy, right? Like blocking and tackling. Here are the main three things that have not changed in the 20-something years I've been online. Number one is it starts with your offer. Like, what's that thing? And the offer is a lot of stuff blended. You've got to have, no matter what the trends are going to be, you have to have that real reason why in the marketplace. Who is it? Who is it you're serving? Why are they going to listen to you? What's your brand? What do you stand for? Like all of that stuff. And then taking it and what's your front end offer? Like if we're talking tactical, like in the weeds marketing, you need a front end offer. Then how are we going to get traffic, right? And that does change different ways to get traffic. And for me, still to this day, the way you're going to continue to sell and monetize is email. Yeah. And everyone says, oh, email's dead. It's not. I mean, I'm going to ask you guys right now, you can put in the chat group, how many times have you guys checked your email today? And I guarantee you, no one is saying zero. I have 4 kids and all of them check their email still. People still have email. And you've got to have a way to still have your own way to communicate with your tribe. Social media is cool. It's great. But what's really interesting is that, so for the past couple of weeks, I've been just focusing on my newest company. It's about 2 years old. It's called Rewind. And we have the best tasting greens in the world. I'll show you. Let me show you I'm just here to sell my shit. I'm not here to help you. Look at these greens. So we have different flavored greens. So for the past couple of weeks, I'm like, you know what? I'm just focusing on our customer acquisition. I'm not on Clubhouse. I haven't gone on Clubhouse in 2 months. I don't have TikTok. I think I have Instagram, but I wouldn't even know my login. I haven't been on there in years. I didn't post a YouTube video. I don't have my own podcast. I have not blogged. I didn't do a LinkedIn post.
You're doing it wrong, buddy.
I haven't done any of that in the past couple of weeks, and our revenue is up over 30%. And I don't think it's a mistake. I don't think it's like, I think it happened for a reason, because I was very purposeful in what's the number one driver of our business? And I'll tell you this, and sometimes this is liberating for people and sometimes it scares the shit out of you, but it's very tough to build a real sustainable business unless you have a way to acquire a customer predictably. And if you get to the point where you can acquire them, especially with some type of paid traffic that's predictable, you can't lose because you're not at the mercy of everyone else. You're not at the mercy of, man, I put a YouTube video up, I hope people see it. Or all of a sudden you get kicked off the platform or they silence you for a month. I mean, that stuff does happen. I'm not living in fear, but I'm saying it does happen. And all the people I've coached over the years that have had the most success have the ability to have a front end offer and grow it and scale it. I don't know if I'm answering your question. I'm kind of ranting because this is where my head is right now. But it's very simple, not always easy, but it's really, really simple. So I don't get caught up with the FOMO. I don't give a shit if Vaynerchuk's saying you got to be on every platform, you're missing the opportunity. I don't care. I'm building the business around my life, around spending as much time as humanly possible with my wife and my 4 kids, whether they like that or not. And then pouring my heart and soul into just a couple of really good traffic sources and then serving my tribe. The only thing I'm focusing on with our social media is our Facebook group. That's where we've been funneling everyone, and it's working really well. But I'll give you one other trend. See, this is just, Brian, this is going to be the easiest thing you ever host. You ask me one question, then everyone just shuts up and gets out of the way for an hour. I do see a trend coming back to more physical media, meaning when I first started, everything was physical. All the products I sold DVD, CDs. So old, in fact, when my first product, I was debating whether I do it on CD or cassette. That's how old school my shit was. So we went from that to a slow transition to everything digital. Now we all have the phone, right? We all have the ability to get anything we want in the phone. It's like, all right, been there, done that. Cool. Now people are coming back to the physical stuff, subscription boxes, e-commerce, print books, like physical media. So I think if there is a trend, I would, or even print newsletters they've not really gone away and they're increasing in popularity again. So I would look at ways, if you're looking at offers, are there ways you can bring it into the physical world, something to mail where people get your stuff, they get your information, and now they have like, this booklet, this packet, this something to go along with it. If you look in my space here, I don't want to move the camera. I don't want to take it offline, but I have hundreds of records and cassette tapes. There's something magical, especially if you're catering to anyone a little bit older, especially my demographic, like Gen X. I'm going to be 49, like our age. Getting something in the mail and sitting and reading it and thumbing through it, it's a different, deeper connection. So that would be a trend I would look at.
That's a great answer. I'm gonna bristle this down to some weeds for partners. What I heard Ryan say is keep everything simple. Don't be on every platform. Be prominently on one platform. Sound familiar? Second, have a core offer. I don't know if that sounds familiar as well. Have a core offer. We can talk about upsells and downsells, but have a core offer.
Yep.
Stand for something. Number three, predictable traffic, of course. And where we're starting with partners is developing high yielding tasks around organic social media. You have hundreds of thousands of dollars sitting on the table. But what part B in much of what Ryan said is this. Ryan's a master at connecting with his audience through email. It's not a show. He's just a good guy who likes to talk to people. So if you open up a Ryan Lee newsletter, he paints a scene. He's in his coffee shop, his favorite coffee shop in Connecticut, blah, blah, blah. He brings you into the scene with him. It's brilliant. It's beautiful. So yeah, I couldn't agree more that paid ads on social media and or both email newsletters, fantastic. But let's get good at connecting with people via organic social media.
Yeah.
Once you've got that, and this is all coming down the pipe in partners, Justin's creating it as we're all sitting here. Here's now how you do paid ads properly. The problem with paid ads that so many coaches run into is that so many coaches think of paid ads as a savior. If I just dump some money into the problem of traffic and lead generation, then I don't have to worry about it. No, but if your organic content sucks, your ads is going to suck too.
Right.
Get good at content, get good at connecting with people, get good at inviting people to calls, get good at developing relationships, and then you can splay off into paid traffic, newsletters, etc. I couldn't agree more with what Ryan said.
Right. And it's not about volume, right? It's not about put out as much as humanly possible. It's about putting out good stuff. Like you have to get to the point where you've got to really know who your audience is and who your market is. And I'm not even talking about at the avatar level, because a lot of people say that, who's your customer or who's your potential client? Oh, it's, a 52-year-old woman with 2.5 kids. The fuck is a 2.5 kid? What's a half a kid? Like, what does that mean? Who lives in blah, blah, blah. And what? No, give me a real person. And every one of you should know some real life human being, whether they're a client or not. Maybe they're like your best friend and you're like, oh my God, they are my perfect client, my perfect customer. And everything you do, and every channel can and does work. YouTube, one of my biggest success stories is this guy, Jeff Cavalier. If you guys have heard of Athlean X, right? He came to me, we developed Athlean X, and he's like the #1 fitness YouTuber now. He went all in with YouTube, right? YouTube works. Another client, John Lee Dumas, podcasting, right? All of these things can and do work. You've got to pick your lane. You can't be everywhere. And then whatever you do, you have to think of that person, that actual human being, their name, not a fake avatar. It's really hard to have this blank face. You need a real person. And you say, would this video really resonate with them? Right? Is what I'm putting out there tapping into that thing where everything you do and say, they should look at it and be like, man, I'm looking at some of the names here. Rod, it's like you were talking to me. Or Alex, were you reading my mind? The more emails and feedback you get from, oh my God, you were reading my mind, you're doing the right thing. And in terms of social media, yes, it's going to be you and it's going to be your story, but there always has to be something in it for them. It can't just be, hey guys, another great day at the beach. Look how awesome I am. We want to throw up. Like, great, you're great. And now all of a sudden, like, I'm annoyed and pissed off. Show me, give me something else. Like, how is this going to help me? Is there a lesson involved? Hey, I'm at the beach. Like, you know what? Coaches, show some fucking humility. Right? Like, let's be humble. Here I am at the beach. I'm so blessed I'm able to do this. I know not everyone has it easy. I am here to help. If you want to, whatever, blah, 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 reach out. But something where you can do good stuff and give and share and still bring it back to the person's like, they're talking to me. They're not just bragging. And I know some of that stuff works. I know some of the pictures in front of the Lambos and the thing that, to me, I see that. And I just have this visceral, like, I can't, I just can't do it to look at it. If it works for you, cool. I'm not I am judging a little bit, but everyone's got their own thing. But I will say just connect on that deeper level. Like, Brian is so good at connecting on that deeper level, and telling the stories. And it's okay if a lot of the stories, are repeating, because not everyone is seeing every single post you're doing. Right? Like, Brian could tell a story about how we met. I know all of Brian's stories. I love his stories. And even if I've seen it before, the repetition is good, because here's another truth. And this is going to sound harsh. And I'm not meaning this to be harsh. I'm meaning this, like, I'm sharing this with love. No one gives a shit about you. Meaning, no one wakes up in the morning and says, man, what's Kerr doing today? What the hell is he? Is he wearing that yellow hat today? I want to see, like, they're worried about themselves. They're like, man, am I going to pay my bills? Am I going to do this? Am I going to connect with my kids? Is they going to rehab? What school they going to? Do I have a job? Like, they have the other stuff going on, and you're there to, like, help them. You're here to lift them up. It's not just about you, and they're not thinking about you all the time and not reading every single post you're doing. So you should repeat some stuff, and repeat stuff and add little twists to it. Don't just say the same thing over and over and over again in the same monotone way, because then if they start seeing that, then you look like a sociopath. So add some fun, add some stories, add some wrinkles, add some updates, and make it like we're human beings. Like, when I first met Brian, I was in my late 20s, not yet married. You know, here I am, almost 49, 4 kids. One's about to go to college. Like, I'm a different person now, and we all go on a journey, and let the people take the journey with you. And you're going to have shifts, and you're going to have pivots, and you're going to do one thing. Like, even seeing Brian he was the figure skating expert to a couple years later, nope, I'm the youth training guy, to nope, I'm like a model coach. Now I'm like the group, like, I'm a bodyguard. I don't know what the hell he's doing, squats and deadlifts. I don't know what the hell Brian's doing, but I've seen the journey. Right? Like, we all take this journey, we all change, and we all go on it, and let people come in and let them take the journey with you. There you go. I don't even know what question I'm answering anymore. I'm just going.
You're doing great. I hope one of the things the partners can see, that I want to bring notice to is is when I said Ryan was my mentor and still is, I meant it. And I hope you hear a lot of me in what he's telling you. Because one of the things I've said multiple times with organic social media content is that there's nothing wrong with displaying how great your life is, but it wasn't always like that. So explain to people how you got from where you were to where you are, that they have to be able to see themselves in what you're saying.
Yep.
And if all you're doing is posting from the beach, the Lambo, and not explaining the rest of the story, they're not going to see themselves. And the buy is always going to come from the emotional connection you make with somebody. The whole reason I'm saying that is maybe a bit of a ball buster to all my partners. There's exactly one reason I've been successful, and one reason only. I listened to what Ryan Lee said, and I executed it. I did it. I put it into action. And what he's telling you right now is absolute gold. But my challenge to you is, are you going to do something with it? That's the only challenge I have. Okay. Ryan, do you want to go on, or somebody else? Yeah, Kelvin. You got to get the food down first. I got you.
Plus, I raise my hand right when I'm eating. So I apologize for the background noise. There's a workout going on. But Ryan, I was a college strength coach. I used to get your CDs and all this kind of stuff back at University of New Orleans. So I appreciate what you've done.
Oh, thanks, Calvin.
And took the scrub and brought him to where he's at now. So, and transitioning, like as you said, like Brian had this start and the next thing and the next thing in phases. One of the things you've done is go to the next thing and offer a new product, but still have things back. For give you an example, I have a studio, but I'm doing another coaching, what I'm doing here, coaching men. And doing both feels sometimes like a mixed message when I'm marketing to certain people. How do you deal with like the different segments of your empire, so to speak, as far as segment there?
That's a great question, Calvin. That is by far the hardest thing we have to do. Easiest thing is to say, this is me, this is my brand, this is my business, this is the one thing I do. When you start doing different messages, then the question is, okay, do you have 2 social media accounts? Now all of a sudden you have a Facebook page for your gym and a Facebook page for your coaching and Instagram for your, and it's much harder, which is why sometimes I feel like I'm contracting, expanding, like I'm still figuring out the dance because it is hard, especially if you're doing it all yourself. If you're the face of the men coaching thing and you're running that whole thing and you're the face of the gym, one thing to think about is potentially having more of an umbrella brand where you're like, hey, I'm Calvin, right? What's your last name, Calvin? All I see is Go Hard.
Go Hard Richard.
All right. Oh, Calvin Richard. Oh, I remember your name, Calvin. So, having like Calvin Richard as like kind of the main umbrella brand. And then, hey, if you want to train with me, go to my gym. Here's this thing. If you're a guy and you want to, go to the next level with your life, your business, your relationships, click here and go here. But it really is the point of like right now I have 2 main companies. I have Rewind, which is our nutrition company, and it's mostly for Gen X. It's a lot of women. And then I still teach some of the marketing stuff more as like a hobby, but I like doing it. And that's a completely different message. So it is a little bit different. On my personal Facebook page, I'll do little hints of both, but I try not to combine the 2. I just have 2 social media, and I try to balance as best I can. That's why I like creating as many systems to try to organize it. But I wish I had the right answer. I mean, right now, what's bringing in the most revenue?
My studio is, I started this, it's called Lionheart. I started that for Ambitious Legacy Driven Men of Faith last year. So it's not even a year old.
What's the name of the gym?
Veris Fit Transformation Lab.
Okay. And what was the reason you did not choose to put your transformation program under that gym brand?
Because I wanted to differentiate. And if I put my gym in a position where it may sell at some point in time, I'm totally okay with that. So I've moved to, so the biggest thing is making it where everyone else is running. I'm not on a floor coaching anymore. So I have a separate business.
Who's running the messaging, marketing, social for the gym?
Me.
Yeah. Is there anyone who could even start taking over part-time, even someone online? I mean, there are people you can find online for like a couple $100 a month who could do a lot of this stuff for you.
Like be the face of it, you mean?
Well, not even the face, but take your picture, I mean, it could be as simple with gym marketing. A lot of it could be the stuff that always works the best in terms of ads and social media are client and customer case studies, right? I mean, you could have someone who does nothing, but that could be most of your social, right? As opposed to saying, I don't know what your social is and your marketing is for the gym, but we can't out content everybody. So I don't know if it's like, here are 10 best ab exercises. Here are 7 ways to do a deadlift. If it's that, you kind of blend in, but if it's more about your case studies in the gym, let someone else take that over. Because I will tell you, as hard as it is here, if we can go all in on one thing, to the moon, because all of your focus, all of your energy, all your passion is to one thing. And that's when you have the most success. It's not easy because right now you're in that, you're trying to juggle 2 things. But I would say if you found someone who was able to take that load off, at least with the gym, and say, okay, let's post something and do the marketing a couple, 2-3 times a week, whatever that is, case studies. And then you don't even have to think about it. You're like, all right, man, I'm all in. Imagine now, Calvin, if all you did was market that new program? How would that feel?
That would feel much better because that's my artist.
I already see the face lighting up. How much
Yeah.
time are you spending right now in the gym, marketing, running, like all that stuff?
More than necessary. It's still a lot during the week.
What's a typical thing you're doing? Give me the number one most important task for your gym.
For me, it's connection, have a connection with the clients, but also we do reactivation campaigns. We're doing stuff in the community, but it's a lot of Facebook stuff.
Okay. Is there anyone who could start doing some of that for you?
Yes, actually, my admin can do that. I've actually did the kind of move away from it being me, the face, and Varus Fit to be the actual logo and the brand itself to be less of me.
Good. Just keep doing it. It's scary because you don't want to give up total control of one thing. I get it. So maybe you could start saying, okay, maybe right now, if it's like 80-20 gym in terms of time, gym to the business thing, set little goals next week. All right, I'm going to go 75-25. I'm going to go 70-30. Let's get it to the point where you're flipping it and you're 80% all in with the stuff that lights you up and 20% just more managerial. Let's get it to the point where you could just work and oversee your gym for like an hour a day, like the most efficient. Here's the big shit I'm got to do. This is the number one thing I have to look at. Show me what you did social. Let's look at the stats. Give me the numbers. Good hour. And now you do your other thing. And then eventually that revenue comes up where you're making more with the other than the gym. It's just going to be a little bit of a process to get there.
And I know the potential's there because that guy that you see Mitchell Earwood down there is my right-hand man for Lionheart. So I already have that person. And I have in my studio what I call the overlord of operations, that's what people call an admin. I don't use names.
Look,
she runs the show.
It's the difference between running a business and owning a business, right? Right now, you're running the gym. Let's get you to own the gym. You know, I have some really wealthy friends who have like $200 million in real estate in New York City. They're not going into every apartment and changing the lights, you know? Not saying you're there now, not saying you're gonna get there overnight. It's a process, but it's like slowly chipping away the little tasks that you don't need to do that you're able to give up control. Because once you start doing the other thing that you love and it's bringing more revenue and you get like tons of proof of concept, I know you're going to run with it. So hopefully that helps.
That was good. I appreciate you.
You got it.
Take the challenge, Calvin, because Ryan just told you everything I've told you in the last 6 months. Do it. Now do it.
Everything else I learned from Tony Robbins. I don't care what you're talking about.
Robbins is the best. Whatever. Me and Ryan suck. I totally get that.
You got those
by the way,
monster hands.
You know what's funny, Ryan, is we talk about how I've transitioned so much in my career. It's funny. I learned the fearlessness of that from you.
Yeah.
By watching you. If you think, do you remember the Rocky video you did?
Yeah.
Yeah. So for everyone, like Ryan was entrenched in the sport training community. And then he kind of branched deeper into the fitness community at large. And then essentially exited all of that to go like more just mainstream business marketing. I don't know if you guys remember a character, the Rich Jerk, richjerk.com. Like Ryan was on stages with guys like that and blah, blah, blah. But then he got pissed off. I remember this, Ryan. He got all pissy because there were like some really bad marketers who kind of essentially took over the space you vacated and they were selling people shit. Yeah. And you're like, fuck it, I'm coming back into the fitness industry. He did an entire video of him like running in the woods.
Yeah, in my backyard.
Theme of Rocky. It was awesome.
Yeah, you could, and that's the thing, you can pivot. Yeah, I left. Yeah. The fitness industry started to get so shady. But the internet market, and I've learned to let go a lot of that stuff because I feel like I'm such a champion for the underdog. I just had such an affinity for the underdog. I just love that feeling of people who like just have the grit and haven't been given everything in life. And we got to work even harder. Even though I'm speaking and I live in New Canaan, Connecticut now, which is like one of the wealthiest towns in the world, but I teach my kid, like all of my kids have jobs. My one who's going to college next year, she's going to have a job there. They're all working the summer. Like, I'm teaching them to work and to appreciate the hard work. So I've always had a thing for the underdog, and I never want to feel like I'm taking advantage of ripping people off. And this was the big turning point when I was in the quote unquote marketing space on stages and all these gurus. I was going to speak at one event. I was about to go on stage. There were like 1,200 people in the audience. And the person whose event it is, I'm not going to say his name. Everyone knows his name in marketing. And his event producer comes up to, I'm about to go on stage. They, they're checking my mic and putting all that stuff in. And as opposed to the opposite, what I told Brian, where just go be you, he looks at me, this event producer, and I thought he was going to give me like the pump up speech. Because he goes, Ryan, you got one job and one job only. And I'm like, I thought he was going to say kick ass, change lives. He looks at me with like dead eyes and goes, your job is to extract every dollar, as much money as humanly possible out of everyone in that crowd. And that I felt it, like my whole body was like drained. I was like, are you kidding me? And it was like this weird, see some of these movies where everything's like going in fast motion. And all I'm thinking, and this was a couple of weeks before my fourth child was about to be born. 10, 15 years before that, some people know, some don't. I spent 6 years, I worked in a children's rehab hospital. I was a recreational therapist. Then I was a teacher in the South Bronx for an alternative high school for at-risk teens. And I'm like, how do I go from a life of service, of helping, of nonprofit, to going on stage and trying to extract as much money from people as possible? And it was like this journey I went on after that. I'm like, all right, I need to change. I need to get back to being me. I can't be in this world anymore. And I know it sounds cliche, like, oh, if you do what you love, the money will come. Because I don't know if that's necessarily true either. But that's why I love that you guys are following Brian and what Brian does. Like, he teaches with his heart. And I really believe if you guys are putting out like just good stuff and telling the truth and almost unlearning some of the hardcore marketing we've seen over the years, right? Where everyone talks about aggressive and headline and trying to claim other people. Even with our nutrition company, the reason why we're growing so fast is someone will say, we'll do a Facebook ad and they'll have a comment. Does this help you lose weight? And I say, no. It's no. If you have one of our greens and then wash it down with a double cheeseburger, a large Coke, fries, and Oreos, you're not going to lose weight. Every other marketer is saying, oh yeah, it's going to do this and this. And I'm like, no. And people appreciate just being told the truth. So and Kurt just said fucking Oreos. Yeah, Oreos are the killers. Nothing wrong with a good Oreo once in a while, but just do that. Come out and just be like, this is what I got. And if you like it, if it gels with you, cool, reach out, let's talk. And if I'm not right for you, that's cool too. I wish you the best. Instead of trying to push everyone and pressure and fucking NLP and all this like manipulative bullshit, just be a human being. People are starving for it. I'm telling you, they're starving for it. I've been saying this for years. It's even more so. And to be honest, that's what Facebook and Google want anyway. They don't want you to make people feel bad. They want you to make people feel good. Do that.
Spot on. I hope that all sounds so fucking familiar to you guys, honestly. My least favorite thing right now, just to carry the cynical flag a little farther, is I know somebody personally, and I wouldn't say this if I didn't know them personally. Of course, I'm not going to mention their name, but I was ill last week, so I toggled on Facebook once, and their post came down my newsfeed, and they did how to train your unconscious to make lots of money. I know the person personally; they don't have any money.
I think they screwed up the words. It was how to lose money. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, at some point you've got just to put away the marketing end of it all, be a real person and help people. That's it. That's all.
And the whole thing of like people are sheep and they want to be led and they don't know what they're doing. It's like people are much more educated now. They could Google search in like 2 seconds and find out the real. Will there be suckers who fall for it? Yes. You don't want to work with them anyway, right? They're going to be a pain in the ass. They're going to refund. They're going to charge back. They're going to have unrealistic expectations. And you don't want to set them up for unrealistic expectations too. This is me. This is what I offer. This is the result you're going to get. If you don't get this, you get a refund or whatever your thing is. Let's give it a shot. Let's see how it goes. Let's try it for a week. Let's try it for a month. You got nothing to lose. And just connect on a deeper level instead of trying to out funnel everyone. It's like I said at the beginning, it's very, very simple. It really is. It's infuriating how simple it is and how complex everyone makes it seem, because a lot of other people, not Brian. Brian's the opposite. He tells you how simple it is. A lot of other coaches make it seem much more complicated than it is. Oh, you got to do the fun, or Facebook ads. Oh, you need 75 Facebook ads. You need an ad and an autoresponder if someone watches 8 seconds of your video, because then they're showing this response. But if they watch 14 seconds of your video, they're on a deeper level. You got to show them this 95 autoresponder sequence. Oh, and if they watch 30 seconds, you got to text them, send them a coupon. F off. Easy, man. Just keep it easy. Like, we can't. Our rewind. We're on track to hit 8 figures soon. We got a Facebook ad, which is a picture, which I took on my iPhone. It takes them right to the sales page. And we have a lot of great testimonials, and we get almost 10% of the people buy. That's about as simple as you can get. So how can you take what you offer and break it down to that simplicity? And coming back to the initial part we were talking about in terms of getting tactical, you need to have that front end offer, that way people come in to see you and to get you and to get whatever, all that stuff that's in your head, get it onto a piece of paper or something that people could really get in like seconds. They could see it. They could say, all right, Alex is my guy. Kim is my gal. Like, they need to know it immediately. And it's very tough to stand out in a crowd when you're saying the same thing as everyone else. Enough with the fucking buzzwords. I help people unlock and manifest their joy. What? It's the same. Everyone says the same shit. You could change the person's picture and it's like the exact same thing. There's nothing different or unique about it. You need to find that unique thing. My friend Todd Brown calls it unique mechanism. Like, what's that thing? I'm going to do my first marketing workshop I've done in years. And instead of calling it how to build a business, how to do this, I've taken the essence of it. I'm calling it micro. The micro work. It's all about building a micro business. A lot of it's the same business building principles, but I've taken this hook and found this unique name mechanism that I'm doing. So how do you do that with what you're doing, with what you're teaching? Is it based on your story? Is it based on a unique mechanism on what you're delivering or how you're delivering it? Something, right? You've got to find a way. But if you generalize and go to just generic, I help people become more successful, or I help all small business owners, blah, 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 you're going to get swallowed up. You really will. Unfortunately, and there's so many, it's so frustrating because there's so many good people who have so much good stuff to do. And the minute they get online, they get nervous about going deep or making a stand or saying anything of substance. And they default to vanilla. And it's like watered down. And it sounds like, a Tony Robbins flunky. Like you read whatever those freaking books are. I don't know, big handbooks, whatever the hell books Tony writes, right? It's like you're taking his shit like from the back cover and you put that on a headline and people become blind to it. Stop doing that, please. Tony is the exception.
Yes.
He's the exception. He's not the rule. For every Tony Robbins, there are hundreds of thousands of starving coaches. I'm telling you. They're not. And just find that thing. And that's the great thing about social media and with building an email list is you test. You try things. Like, even if you have an email list, it's not the absolute best gauge, but I'm always trying different subject lines and seeing what gets the most opens. So I might do one subject line if I'm testing micro millionaire versus micro membership. You might think, oh, they're the same, but they're not the same, right? Oh, micro membership got 3 times more opens. Okay, now I'm onto something. Now let me test micro membership versus, 24-hour membership. Okay, this is winning. All right, now at least you get to start to get some data. Same thing with your social media posts. So try things, put things out there, see what resonates, and don't let your ego get in the way. Don't get emotionally attached. Don't think this is my thing. This is my brand. Another big killer of entrepreneurs. This is the biggie, Bri. And I don't know if you've talked about this or not, but it's a fucking killer. It's the sunk cost bias. It's, here's an example. I love telling this story. This is my favorite. coached this guy years ago. He did a coaching session with me, and he said, he tells me he wants to market his videos. I said, okay. And he sends me a clip, and I start watching the video. And the video is a guy, this big, like black bushy beard, thick curly hair. The video's kind of grainy. It looks like he's auditioning for like a porn in the 70s. Like it looks so like old and antiquated. And I get on with him, and it's like a face-to-face thing. And I said, who is that? He said, that's me. I said, what? I said, because now the guy I'm looking at is like 65 years old, a little bit of hair, but it's all gray. Everything else is bald, no beard. Doesn't look like him. It looked like, I'm like, when was this video shot? He's like, oh, it was like 25 years ago, 30 years ago. And I said, all right, how much of that content, because he was in the I don't want to give it away. He was in like the self-help personal development. I said, how much of that content is still relevant? He said, oh, like 20%, 30%. I said, so you can't sell it because you're not giving people like what's going to help them. He said, but I spent a lot of money to do the videos. I spent like 20 grand 20 years ago. I said, yeah. He goes, and I want to make that back. I said, but they don't care. Like, you're not helping them. This is all about you. And no one cares that you spent 20 grand. They don't care if you spend $1 million. The money's already gone. You can't sell something that's old and doesn't work. He's like, but I want to sell it. I already spent the money. And he was getting like angry at me. He was yelling at me. He's like, what are you talking about? I already spent the money. I want to make it back. I said, dude, I can't help you. I can't ethically help you sell something that doesn't work. And you're not going to sell it anyway. And even if you did, you're going to get all refunds. So don't let that happen to you. So I don't care if you worked for 6 months building your membership content. If it doesn't sell, it doesn't sell. And you either find a way to change it, pivot, or you let it fucking go. Because no one gives a shit how much time or money or effort you spent. That's why you got to put stuff out there and do as much as you can. Sell it in little bites and little bits and little things before you go all in and create like a 7-month course. Hey, if it's your first time coaching, you don't have a lot of clients, let's start with one session. So I don't know what Brian's system he teaches you, but sell 1 hour, do a 30-minute, do a 20-minute speed session for $100, for God's sakes. Let's try something. Get the wheels moving, get it going, get some feedback, get some testimonials, and then refine your system and your messaging. That's the way you do it.
Traction beats traction every time. I love it. God, Ryan, I love you. You're a bit of an ass, but I fucking love you.
Fuck off. I like this because I could just be free and I don't curse like on interviews or stuff anymore, but this is like a private thing. But look I'm dropping F-bombs now. I'm going, Brian, you're bringing me to the dark side, my friend. Next thing you know, I'm going to get all tatted up, baby.
You should.
Everybody
should get fucking tats.
Neck tattoo. I'm getting a fucking face tattoo. I'm getting teardrops, baby.
That's going to go really well in Connecticut.
Teardrops. That's not going to go well in New Canaan. Will not go well. Yeah. But I'll bring back my earring I used to have.
I remember that earring.
Oh, when I was like 16.
No, you had it longer than that. You still had a little fucking thing. I remember it was in one ear.
I was the man.
Awesome.
I'm a loser now. But what else can I help you guys with?
Angus Buckle, I know I can't even believe the time has gone this fast. We only have a few minutes left, but I know Angus is, I think Angus is chomping at the bit to ask Ryan some questions. Having said that, if he stays, oh no, he's coming on now.
I'm here. Yeah, thanks, BG. Hey, Ryan, I've been uploading Zoom calls to Kajabi today, so my computer's massively overheating. So I'm not going to jump on camera because I'm quite delayed.
That's
but
okay.
I just wanted to say I'm on Freedom, which is awesome. I was watching some of the videos of Paul Moore, Tager, who I know actually I've done some webinars with as well. So just wanted to say Freedom is awesome. If anyone isn't on Freedom, get on Freedom because it's free and it's awesome.
Thank you. Although we did stop taking new members now. And I guess, what is it? You've got the English accent and all you do is all you do is quoting other English people. Listen to some of the Americans. Come on. All right. Yeah. So
okay, who's the best? Who's the best American I should listen to on Freedom?
You got him right now, my friend.
I was going to say he's sitting right there.
I'm right here for you. So what's up, Angus? How can I help you, my man?
So I was listening to your advice, and you were kind of saying all the different methods work. So it's a membership site. Something I've found that's worked for me quite well. I'm a sleep coach, and I've been doing masterclasses, so going into somebody's audience, doing a free kind of sleep masterclass, and then afterwards making an offer. I was curious to know your opinion. There's obviously lots of variables, but if I was to do that kind of method, free masterclass into something kind of like Paul Mott was saying, like into a 297, into like, you know, maybe something longer, a bit more, what would potentially be a traffic source you'd recommend in the coaching industry? Because obviously I see Facebook's very popular, but then YouTube kind of looks maybe cheaper. So just any advice you would give around that?
YouTube ads are way cheaper.
That's a great question. And it's interesting. You said the right words. You said your offer. First thing you have to do is decide what that front end offer is, right? The way you're going is a free masterclass, which is basically an opt-in. So you're getting an email with the hope that you sell them into something down the road. And that's a method that's been used for a long time. It still works. You're risking a little bit more, right? Because you're spending more to get a lead and you don't know if they're going to be quality leads. If you are going into other audiences, like you're going into a podcast, they're a much warmer lead. Like they're much warmer. So if they're listening to you for half an hour, 45 minutes, there's a much better chance they're going to convert versus seeing an ad. So it all depends where they are and how much of a relationship they're building with you. So that's one way to do it. The other, and I'll get to your question in a minute. The other way to do it is to say, screw it. I'm not even trying to build a list of opt-ins or leads. I just want a list of buyers. Then you say, I'm going to take my information, my IP, and whittle it down to like a small digestible piece of content that either you're in or you're not, either you pay or you don't. And maybe it's a book for $10 or $20, or maybe it's a book that's free plus shipping, or maybe it's a 1 hour digital course that's $20, that maybe it cost you $12 or $15 or $20 or $25 to make the $20 sale, but now you've got a buyer, right? And then you could potentially break even or even monetize on an upsell. So once you figure out, and if the free and then you sell them into a class works, or if it's sell them right away into a product works, whichever one works, then you take it to traffic. So right now, obviously there's Facebook. The best thing about Facebook is, of course, the amount of targeting you can do. I mean, you can go so deep and so deep. It's unreal. You can get so much scale on Facebook. Another really thing that's not looked at enough is Google. And obviously YouTube is right in there in the same Google ecosystem. But I would look at YouTube ads are a little tougher to break in, because obviously you have to do the video, you have to get attention. But there's tremendous opportunity in YouTube that a lot of people are not taking advantage of. So, I mean, that's for us, where right now we wanted to really show we can scale Rewind with Facebook. And now it's funny you mentioned that we're actually creating new YouTube things. So YouTube is another one. If you have, let me see, the other one, which it's going to be a little bit tougher to make work. There's a lot more risk, is email. And when I say email, I don't mean your own email list. I mean other email lists. So there are email brokers, and they could say, okay, we have a list of 200,000 customers in this, and we email them to every day. And it's a $12 CPM. So you pay $12 for every 1,000 people it reaches. We built one of our companies. We were spending up to $20,000 a day, mostly with email marketing back in the day. Because there's hundreds and hundreds of millions of emails that can go out. So that would be the other one. That's a little trickier. I would do that further down the road. And then the fourth, like if all these other things are working, and only if it's a mass market offer, meaning make money, lose weight. It's got to be big. It can't be like, even personal development might be too small. Native traffic. So if you go to a site like CNN.com or weather.com, you scroll down and you see all these like weird little ads. 1 trick to lose belly fat, 2 ways to look like Brian Grasso, like all these and then you click on it. It's usually VSL. Those are called native ads. The big content networks are like Taboola, Rev Content's another one, Outbrain. It's a different game. You got to do pre-content. I don't recommend starting there, but I'm just saying in terms of down the road, like taking companies to 8 and 9 figures, Facebook, then Google/YouTube, email, and native. would be that's what I would look. But it all starts with the offer. You've got to nail that offer. And the offer, even if it works now, will change, and you're gonna have to change up ads and change different things and try different things. But it is about that offer. And again, they both work. Free to selling something on your list or an immediate upsell works, and so does getting the customer. With Rewind, all we do is sell and try to get a customer. I don't care about the freebie seekers. Just give me the customer. And be careful, because when you do a free plus shipping offer, we did a free plus shipping offer with our greens. We were doing we getting thousands of customers a week, but they were not buyers. They were all freebie seekers. Some people would say, "Oh, I didn't like the greens. Can I have my shipping back? $5." I'm like, "What? Really?" Yeah. So you don't know until you put things out there. It's like a game of just trying and testing and tweaking.
Yeah. Angus, let me just add something that down the pipe coming very, very soon to partners, which of course you will not be charged for even one penny. Justin's putting together a Facebook ads manifesto. So look, now that you have your high yielding tasks in place, you have good content going out organically. Here's how you now leverage that into ads. So Justin is taking care of that, but he's also putting together a subsection on YouTube ads. Ryan's not wrong. YouTube is a grossly underused place.
Oh yeah.
In terms of ads. And Angus, I'm thinking about you directly for this. One of the really cool benefits of YouTube ads is simple. A, they tend to be a little less expensive. But B, you can literally put an insignia into YouTube. Who are your direct competitors, right? So for Angus, if it's a sleep doctor like Michael Bruce, for example, you can literally configure it that your ad goes over top of his videos, quite literally. So the benefit there is that somebody is searching for sleep-based content. That's why they searched for, as an example, Michael Bruce. And you can put your ad over top of his videos. So before the person who wants to hear about sleep gets to hear the video that they requested to watch, they have to sit through your 15-second ad. There's a lot of specialized targeting on YouTube that is ridiculously powerful, and nobody's touching it en masse yet. Within the next 2 months, Justin will have a complete 4-tier tutorial for you guys on how you can maximize YouTube ads if you want to. Okay.
Yeah, and remember, YouTube right now is the number 2 search engine in the world. So we're going really hard with YouTube. And the other suggestion I have is that, as Brian's going to give you all this training, don't think you have to do it all yourself. Like that's the problem. We get overloaded. We're like, I got a coach, I got clients, I got this. Now I have to learn YouTube ads. Like, you have to know the process and the mechanics of it, and then you could hire someone to like run them for you once they're working, right? Like, you can get the first ones up, you get some proof of concept, and hire someone to just say, okay, run them for me now. If you want to grow, but you can do it yourself, but just it's a lot, because knowing everything you have to about Facebook, about YouTube, about this, about that, it could be overwhelming. So know what you're doing, understand the numbers. The nice thing about coaching and digital products is, as opposed to my greens, it's almost all profit. So you really there's no COGS, there's no cost of goods. Man, I miss that business.
I told you guys I learned so much from Ryan. Let me speak to what he just said there. One of the things that I haven't even announced yet, but Partners Corporate is actually putting together a social media company, so that if you want to learn how to run Facebook and YouTube ads conceptually, so that you have as much knowledge as you need to have, Justin's supplying that to you. But if you want to outsource it being managed by somebody else, of course, with your approval and consent, we're going to supply that company for you.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. You need to. Like, I understand about our Facebook ads, but I'm not running them.
No.
I have someone running our ads, because that's not the best use of my time.
Sure.
Look, if you're really good at it, like if you love spreadsheets, and you have like more of an engineering mind, and you love data, you might be really talented in that. And that's cool. You just got to figure out, but I would assume if you're here and you're with Brian, you're probably not that type of person.
I don't attract those people.
No.
Yeah.
And Ryan, can I just add something?
Please, Angus, go right ahead.
Cool. I think The mention about the book's quite interesting because you know Dan Meredith. I think he worked a few years ago as
I know Dan very well. Yeah.
Apprentice kind of thing, right? He was one of my sleep clients, and he was saying that I should definitely write a sleep book. So that's where I've been looking at, and that I think correlates to what you were saying earlier on. Also, what Paul Mort was saying, that book really got him the exposure of that kind of low level.
A book changes everything. Even today, where a lot of people write books and self-publish, it still has this cachet of like, you've made it. I remember I had all the success years ago. I was millions and millions of dollars, and I finally wrote my first book in, I don't remember when it was, 2000 something, 2, 3, whatever. And then my parents like were showing it around to their friends, all the Jewish yentas, like, oh my God, I didn't know he's so successful. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, I self-published it. Like, it's not a big deal. But people do see you as an expert when you get the book. But if you're going to do a book, I will tell you this, you've got to have a really good name, and do not get cheap on the cover. Don't go to Fiverr. Don't do it yourself in like PowerPoint or like Microsoft Word. That's the worst thing you could do, is those cheap homemade looking covers with like some cheesy clip art from 1988. Spend money. Canva is a, what do you call it? An online, graphic design thing. It's really cool. I love, by the way, Canva, one of the greatest, the tool I probably use the most, Canva. You could do now you could do videos, you could do images, you could do banners, anything that you want to do, like a little quick graphic, a Facebook that you say, I want to do a Facebook post, or I want to do an Instagram post. It gives you the exact dimensions. Like, it's really cool. So Canva, I really recommend. I'm not into tons of tools, but that's a good one. And I forgot what I was just saying. But anyway.
Well, you thought about the book, but thanks, Ryan.
Yes.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. Even if it's like a 60 or 80 page book, doesn't matter. But the name, and go look at Amazon, look at bestsellers, go to an actual bookstore and find the books that catch your eye, take pictures of them and send them over, and find a really good graphic designer.
Yeah. I think the book's definitely the best way to go. And I look at the other sleep books where they're overcomplicated by neuroscientists, and I just kind of want to deliver like simple sleep tips for entrepreneurs who are just busy and probably burnt out and need a better schedule. So I'd make it quite simple and go for entrepreneurs.
In general, books or programs or anything you're selling that is a system, a step-by-step, even with a specific number, like a day number on it, like the 30-day to better sleep or whatever, works better in general than 29 ways to sleep better. That the tips books tend not to work as well. They're not like as evergreen as you'd want. So make it really good, but systems work better.
Guys, I'm going to unfortunately have to close this out. In closing, let me say this really fast, off topic. To all my partners, for those of you who don't know, Mark Zuckerberg really dislikes me a lot, and every once in a while he fucks around with my messages. If you've been sending me messages on Facebook, odds are I'm not getting them. I've also sent messages out to people in this community that I know are not being replied to, which makes me believe that either you really just don't like me that much, or you're not receiving them.
It's the former.
Yeah, probably just don't like me. Guys, you can always hit my email, Brian Grasso, then the number 1@gmail.com. Okay, you can always reach me there. Zuckerberg can't touch my email, so feel safe with that.
Brian, one quick thing. The reason I think he doesn't like you is because you call him Zuckerberger.
Fuck him.
It's Zuckerberg.
What does he know about life? Fuck that guy.
No, but call him Zuckerberg, his name, and he might like you a little better than Zuckerberger. Just a little FYI.
Hey, he's fucked with my messages long before I called him Zuckerberger, just for the record. By the way, I think he's listening right now, so I should shut up. But
he is.
I just want to be clear. My messages are not particularly predictable. So email me at any time, okay? That said, hey, gang, should we have Ryan back at a later date? Yeah, Ryan, you're pretty much the shit.
I feel like we could have done even more. I want to come back. I think, Brian, I would love to come back and then make it like really specific about one thing. Maybe specifically offers, where I could open up and like show you the offers we're doing and different offers and all that kind of cool stuff. Or membership sites, whatever. I think pick a topic and we like dive in, and I could do more screen share, and I would love to do that.
That work for you guys? I think that's awesome. Ryan, you're very generous. Greatly appreciated, brother. Love you to death. Don't like you that much, but I do love you.
Right back at you, my man. No, but thank you for having me. I was truly looking forward to this. I couldn't wait. Like, I'm like, all right, it's going to be fun. We get some cool people. I get to meet some new people. So hopefully you guys found at least one or two big ahas or nuggets or something. So thanks for having me, Brian. And really, truly, just follow Brian's heart. And just guys, just put out good stuff. This is a game of like relationships, and you just deliver, change people's lives, and they become your biggest fans, and they refer other people. It grows. It's such a better way to do business. So I wish you guys all the best.
Thanks, Ryan. You're the best, buddy. We'll have you back soon.
Thanks, Bri. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Cheers.